Take two Tesla coils, place them 3 feet apart, turn them on, lightning arcs between them. Brilliant, crackling. Pure electrical energy jumping through empty air. Now here's a question that will change everything. What's in that space? Between the coils, where the lightning travels. Most people would say nothing. It's empty space. Air. A vacuum if you remove the air. Nothing. But that's not what Tesla said. When Nikola Tesla looked at the space between two coils, the apparent emptiness where energy traveled, he saw something that no one else could see. Something that shattered his understanding of reality. Something that, when he tried to explain it, made people think he'd gone insane. Because according to Tesla, that space isn't empty at all. It's full. Completely full. Of something so fundamental, so all-pervading, so absolutely crucial to existence itself that without it nothing could exist. No light, no electricity, no gravity, no matter, nothing. Tesla called it the ether. And what he discovered about this invisible medium, this something that fills all of space, is so mind-bending, so reality-shattering, that modern physics has spent the last 100 years trying to pretend it doesn't exist. But it does exist. Tesla proved it. He built machines that interacted with it. He transmitted power through it. He understood it in ways that scientists today are only beginning to rediscover. And what he found in that space between the coils, it will absolutely break your brain. Because everything you think you know about empty space, about vacuums, about the fabric of reality itself, is wrong. And Tesla knew it. Let's start with a problem that haunted scientists for centuries. Light travels through space. We see light from the sun, from distant stars, from galaxies billions of light years away. Light travels through the vacuum of space to reach us. But here's the problem. Light is a wave. And waves need a medium. When you drop a stone in a pond, you see ripples spreading out, waterways. The wave is a disturbance traveling through the water. Without water, there's no wave. When you shout, sound waves travel through air. The air molecules vibrate, passing the energy along. In the vacuum of space, there's no sound, because there's no air for the wave to travel through. So if light is a wave, what is it traveling through? Space is supposed to be empty, a vacuum, nothing there. But if there's nothing there, how can a wave travel through it? This problem tortured physicists in the 1800s. They came up with a solution. There must be something filling all of space. Something invisible, weightless, undetectable by normal means, but real. They called it the luminiferous ether, the light-carrying ether. An invisible medium that filled all of space, allowing light waves to propagate. Makes sense, right? But then in 1887, two scientists named Michelson and Morley did an experiment. They tried to detect the ether by measuring how light traveled in different directions. If the ether existed and Earth was moving through it as we orbit the sun, then light should travel at different speeds depending on direction, like swimming with or against a current. They built an incredibly precise experiment and found nothing, no difference. Light traveled at the same speed in all directions. The conclusion? The ether doesn't exist. Space is truly empty. This result became one of the foundations of Einstein's relativity. The speed of light is constant because there is no ether. Science moved on. Problem solved. Except Nikola Tesla never accepted it. He double. The ether existed because he'd interacted with it. He built machines that transmitted power through it. He'd measured it, manipulated it, used it. And he knew that the Michelson-Morley experiment hadn't proven the ether didn't exist. It had only proven they were looking for the wrong thing. Tesla is giving a lecture to the Institution of Electrical Engineers in London. He's already famous for his alternating current system, for his motors, for his transformer designs. But today he's going to talk about something deeper. Something that will define the rest of his life. He begins, of all the forms of nature's immeasurable energy which ever and ever flows into our world, the one most suited to our needs is the energy of the medium which fills all space, the ether. The audience shifts uncomfortably. The ether, that controversial invisible substance. Tesla continues, long ago, I recognized that all perceptible matter comes from a primary substance, a tenuity beyond conception, filling all space. This primary substance is acted upon by the life-giving creative force, and this ether, or universal medium, set in motion, creates all things and phenomena. He's describing the ether not as a passive background, but as something active, something that can be influenced, manipulated, used. He goes on, ere many generations pass, our machinery will be driven by a power obtainable at any point in the universe. This idea is not novel. We find it in the delightful myth of Antheus, who derives power from the earth. The audience is confused. Myths? Universal power? But Tesla isn't speaking poetically, he's speaking literally. He continues describing his vision. Imagine the ether as an incompressible fluid, not like water or air, something far more fundamental. It fills all space completely. There are no gaps, no empty spots. Everything we call matter, atoms, electrons, particles, are actually storches sent to ether, like whirlpools in water. The whirlpool looks like a separate thing, but it's really just water organized in a particular pattern. Matter is the same. It's ether organized in particular patterns. When you have electricity, you have a disturbance in the ether. When you have magnetism, you have a rotation in the ether. When you have gravity, you have a pressure gradient in the ether. Everything is ether in different states of motion. The space between two Tesla coils isn't empty. It's ether. And when you create an electrical potential between those coils, you're creating a stress in the ether, a tension. And when that tension becomes great enough, the ether breaks. It discharges. We call that discharge lightning. But it's really the ether releasing its tension, flowing from high pressure to low pressure. Visible, violent, beautiful. The audience listens, captivated but skeptical. This sounds like philosophy, like mysticism. Where's the science? Tesla smiles. Let me show you. Tesla's laboratory. 1893. He's built something extraordinary. 2 coils, each 6 feet tall, wound with thousands of turns of copper wire, connected to high voltage, high frequency power supplies. In the space between them, nothing visible, just air. Tesla activates the first coil. It hums with energy. A faint glow surrounds it. He activates the second coil. Suddenly, lightning erupts between them. Not thin spark gap discharges. Thick, brilliant bolts of electricity twisting through the air like living serpents. The crack of thunder fills the laboratory. The smell of ozone, sharp, clean, electric, permeates everything. But Tesla isn't watching the lightning. He's watching the space. He's placed various instruments in the space between the coils. Suspended copper spheres, glass tubes filled with gas, sheets of mica. As the energy flows between the coils, these objects respond. The copper spheres glow with St. Elmo's fire. The gas tubes light up, even though they're not connected to anything. The mica sheets crackle with static discharge. Something is filling that space. Something that's interacting with these objects. Something invisible but real. Tesla makes an adjustment to the frequency of his coils. The lightning stops, but the instruments keep responding. The gas tubes still glow faintly. The copper spheres still hum with induced current. Energy is still flowing between the coils, but it's invisible now, not traveling as visible lightning, but as waves through the ether itself. Tesla speaks to his assistant. You see, the ether is transmitting the energy. When the frequency is low, the transmission becomes unstable and we see visible discharge, lightning. But at higher frequencies, the ether transmits the energy smoothly, invisibly. He walks into the space between the coils. His assistant gasps, "Sir, you'll be electrocuted." Tesla laughs. Not at these frequencies. He stands there in the invisible field. Nothing happens. Then he extends his hand toward one of the coils. Lightning shoots from his fingertips. Brilliant blue white arcs flowing from his hand to the coil. He's conducting the ether's energy through his own body. He explains, the human body is not separate from the ether. We are ether, organized in a particular way. When I attune my body to the field's frequency, I become part of the circuit. I don't resist the energy, I channel it. For 10 minutes, Tesla demonstrates various phenomena. He lights bulbs by holding them in the invisible field. He creates glowing coronas around middle objects. He transmits power wirelessly across the laboratory, all of it flowing through what everyone else thinks is empty space. But Tesla sees it clearly, the ether, swirling, flowing, conducting, as real as the copper in his coils. More real, actually, because the copper is just ether in solid form. Everything is ether. The coils are ether. The lightning is ether. The space between is ether. He is ether. It's all one continuous medium in different states of motion. So what is this ether? How does it work? Tesla spent decades developing his understanding. Here's what he concluded. The ether is an incompressible fluid-like medium that fills all space, not a fluid like water. Something more fundamental, without mass, but with properties similar to fluids. It can support waves, disturbances that propagate through it. It can support vortices, rotating structures that we perceive as particles of matter. It can be compressed and rarefied, creating areas of high and low density. Think of it like this. Imagine a perfectly still pond, smooth, flat, undisturbed. Now drop a stone in. Ripples spread out, waves, energy traveling through the water. The water itself barely moves, just up and down slightly. But the wave, the pattern, travels across the surface. That's similar to how light moves through the ether. Light is a wave pattern, a disturbance, traveling through the ether medium. The ether itself doesn't move much, but the pattern propagates. Now imagine creating a whirlpool in that pond. The water swirls. It creates a stable, rotating structure. That whirlpool looks like a separate thing. You might even give it a name, the whirlpool. But it's not separate from the water. It is water, just organized in a rotating pattern. That's what an electron is. A stable vortex in the ether, what a proton is, what every particle is, organized patterns in the ether medium. They seem like separate objects, but they're all just the ether, structured differently. Now here's where it gets profound. If everything is ether, then everything is connected. There's no actual separation between objects. Your hand and the table it's resting on are both ether. The boundary between them is just where the ether transitions from one organized pattern, your hand, to another, the table. But it's all one continuous medium. Tesla understood this. That's why he could transmit power wirelessly, because there's no such thing as truly wireless. The ether connects everything. It's not that the power jumps across empty space. It flows through the ether medium that fills that space. Between the coils, there's ether. Through the air, there's ether. Through your body, there's ether. Through your body, there's ether. Through the vacuum of space, there's ether. It's everywhere, and it can transmit energy anywhere. You just need to create a disturbance in it, a wave, and that wave will propagate. That's what Tesla's coils do. They create disturbances in the ether. Those disturbances propagate outward. Any device tuned to resonate with those disturbances can extract energy from them. It's not magic, it's mechanics. The mechanics of the ether. So if Tesla understood all this, if he demonstrated it, if he built working systems based on it, why don't we learn about the ether in school? Why did physics abandon this concept? Why does modern science insist that space is empty? The answer is complicated, but it comes down to two things: mathematics and control. First, the mathematics. Einstein's relativity didn't need the ether to explain phenomena. His equations worked perfectly without it. Simpler equations, fewer assumptions. In science, there's a principle called Occam's razor. If two theories explain the same observations, choose the simpler one. Einstein's relativity was mathematically simpler than ether theories, so science chose relativity. The ether was declared unnecessary, but here's what they don't tell you. Unnecessary doesn't mean non-existent. Relativity and ether theories make the same predictions for most phenomena. They're mathematically equivalent in many situations. Relativity won not because it was true and ether theory was false. It won because it was simpler to calculate with. But simpler mathematics doesn't always mean deeper understanding. Tesla argued this repeatedly. He said Einstein's relativity was a magnificent mathematical garb which fascinates, dazzles, and makes people blind to the underlying errors. He insisted that the ether was real, not just a mathematical convenience. And he was right, because modern physics has had to bring back the ether under different names. Quantum field theory, that's ether theory. The quantum vacuum, that's the ether. Virtual particles, constantly popping in and out of existence and empty space, that's ether activity. Dark energy filling all of space, that's the ether. The Higgs field that gives particles mass, that's the ether. Modern physics has recreated the ether in everything but name. But they won't call it that. Why? Because of the second reason, control. If you understand that space is filled with an energy-carrying medium, if you understand that this medium is everywhere, accessible to everyone, if you understand that you can extract energy from it with the right technology, then certain questions become obvious. Why am I paying for electricity? Why do I need power lines? Why is energy scarce? Tesla's ether theory implies abundance, infinite energy everywhere, freely available. You just need the right resonators to extract it. That's what his towers were designed to do. That's what his wireless power system was based on. And that's why it was destroyed. Because energy abundance destroys energy profits. If everyone can tap into the ether for free power, the entire energy industry collapses. So they couldn't allow the ether to exist. Not scientifically, not publicly. Einstein's relativity gave them the perfect excuse. The ether doesn't exist. Space is empty. Energy must be generated and transmitted through physical infrastructure. Problem solved. The public accepts it. The energy companies stay in business, and Tesla dies alone, forgotten, penniless. But the truth doesn't die. It just waits. So let's come back to our original question. What's between two Tesla coils? You now know Tesla's answer? Everything. The fundamental medium of existence itself. The ether. The substance from which all things are made and through which all forces act. It's not empty space. It's full space. Completely full of something so fine, so subtle, so all-pervading that we can't perceive it directly, but it's there. Right now, as you watch this, you're sitting in it, swimming in it. Made all effort. Every atom in your body is a vortex in the ether. Every thought in your brain is an electromagnetic wave propagating through the ether. Every photon of light entering your eyes is a disturbance in the ether. You are not separate from the universe. You are a pattern in the universal medium, a temporary organization of ether in the form you call yourself. And that medium connects you to everything else, not metaphorically, not spiritually, physically, through the ether that fills all space. This is what Tesla understood. This is what he tried to give us. Not just free energy, though that would have been revolutionary enough, but a completely different understanding of reality itself, an understanding where everything is connected, where energy is abundant, where the universe is not dead, empty space with random matter scattered through it, but a living, flowing, continuous medium in various states of organization. Matter is frozen ether. Energy is flowing ether. Life is organized ether. Consciousness is, who knows? Tesla speculated it was ether resonating at specific frequencies. He never proved that, but he proved the ether existed. He proved it could carry energy. He proved it could be manipulated. And then they made the world forget. They scrubbed the ether from textbooks. They taught you about empty space and quantum foam and virtual particles, all just ether by other names. They made sure you'd never ask the dangerous question. If space is full of energy-carrying medium, why am I paying for electricity? But some people are starting to ask that question again. Researchers are rediscovering Tesla's principles. Experiments in zero-point energy and quantum vacuum fluctuations are really experiments in ether energy extraction. They won't call it that, but that's what it is. And slowly, Tesla's vision is being rebuilt, one discovery at a time, one experiment at a time. The ether theory is returning, under new names, with new mathematics. But it's the same thing Tesla understood 130 years ago. Space isn't empty, it's full. And what fills it is the source of all energy, all matter, all existence. Tesla tried to show us how to tap into it. They stopped him, but they couldn't stop the truth. And the truth is this: you don't live in the universe of scarcity. You live in a universe of absolute abundance, an infinite ocean of energy, right there between the coils, right there in the space you think is empty, right there in the room around you, everywhere, all the time. Tesla saw it. He tried to give us access to it. Maybe someday we'll finally accept the gift. And when we do, everything changes. Because the space between, it's not empty. It never was. It's everything. Your mind isn't done breaking yet. Wait until you hear what Tesla discovered about energy itself, the secret code, the numbers 3, 6, and 9. If you knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe. Tesla's words and what they mean will shatter everything you think you know about reality. Subscribe. The deepest secrets are still coming.